we are under starters orders here then at Snetterton, and a bit of creeping there from second on the grid by Gary Bryan. Remember, this is the top 10 grid reversal from yesterday's race results, but Gary Bryan certainly was creeping off the line there, and it was the red bike of Brian Gray who was on the pole. Brian Gray in with the lead, and there's contact in the middle, and that is John Holden there, involved in a touch through Rich's corner for the first time. Remember, we've got quicker runners coming through and more contact, more body rubbing going on. That's the 95 of Lewis Blackstock running out wide as they come around the hairpin at Wilson's, and now on the grass is Blackstock. On the exit, they are absolutely all over the place. It's narrow enough off the line here at Snetterton on a solo, let alone on a sidecar, which is about 3 times as wide. And coming through, of course, you've got the winners of yesterday's race, Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson from 10th on the grid. Look, they're almost making contact as they come down to Agostini's for the first time. Gary Bryan with the lead. And now Ellis is up the inside. There's almost contact there. Blackstock's in the mix as well. Barry, it's difficult to know where to look.
Well, it is. We said Chris Walker would get a flyer. We knew Gary Bryan would be quit out of the blocks because he always is. John Holden, Lee Kane out of the action, so probably a result of some of that contact. Todd Ellis fighting through there. Lewis Blackstock, the number 95, so the sole remaining Barnes Racing Silicon Engineering Yamaha right in the mix. Ben Holland flying too, right up behind Gary Bryan.
This is absolutely remarkable action. That's Blackstock in the background with the sidecar wheel on the grass, and as you say, Ben Holland now, Ricky Stevens' teammate, alongside the current leader Gary Bryan. But did he jump the start? We'll find out in a moment. But number 2 Gary Bryan now down to second place as Ben Holland leads the sidecar race for the first time this year. Chris Walker's right up there as well in third position.
Well, we saw Chris Walker make the best of this reverse grid situation at Knock Hill. He's doing the same here. He's won, and we're getting news that Gary Bryan has been penalised for a jump start, so that's bad news, Greg.
Yeah, it is, but I have to say I'm not surprised. You could clearly see they were creeping off the line. There he is, number 2, through the shot, and look at that, Lewis Blackstock up the inside of Brian Gray. Brian Gray, who started on the pole position in this reverse grid race. Now there's Chris Walker, number 9, the yellow bike, pulls out to his left, our right, and he's ahead of Gary Bryan already, as Gary Bryan now gets notification of his ride-through penalty.
How quick was that bike of Walker's? He and Ashley Hall's just moved out behind Gary Bryan, got the pace down, and really, really making the most of this. Up to second place. Look at the lead Ben Holland and Lee Watson have.
Well, if you're joining us for the first time with the sidecars this year, there's almost contact in the middle again as they try and squabble for position. They might get turned around. That was close there. Lewis Blackstock. It's easy to make side-to-side contact down through the Wilson hairpin. But if you are joining us for the first time this year with the sidecars, everybody's on 600cc powered outfits now. We had a split last year, some on 1000s, some on 600s, but this new all 600cc formula is really working out well. Ricky Stevens now cutting through on Gary Bryan as well. There he goes.
Bryan fighting back though, and I can see Ellis going well, but of course Steve Kershaw, the reigning and defending champion, Steve Kershaw, Stuart Clark not making a fist of it. Lewis Blackstock, 95, that world experience they had last year. They came in here with all this 600 experience, just as Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson did. This is their 3rd year on a 600, and that is his stepfather alongside.
Yes, just to make it even more intriguing. Gary Bryan, incidentally, the 2014 British F2 champion. Now look at this, look at the bike on the left-hand side, number 2, the white machine. Here's the creeping there. It was fraction of a second there, but it was clearly a jump start there. Maybe a bit marginal, but if we can see that from the commentary box, then you know it's a jump start, and it certainly was. So they've got to come in sooner rather than later, otherwise they'll be black flagged and out of the race. Now Chris Walker, sorry, Barry, that was Chris Walker there, and he's coming under real pressure now, and that's the Quattroplane bike right behind him.
Well, he can have no better master than Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charwood, former double champions themselves, of course, back in the days of big engines. Chris Walker, new to the 600, had that season out 2017 out of it completely, but he and Ashley Hall's now reunited, and he's got the hang of this. Here comes Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charwood, the number 100 JG Speedfit Quattroplane. What a great result for Paul Napton's team so far. Absolutely.
Paul Napton with us in commentary, of course, on the Eurosport Player yesterday for the first of the races. Down through Rich's. Gary Bryan has still not yet taken that ride-through penalty, and here we go for a change. That's Stevens up the inside of Chris Walker. Chris, who incidentally had the first podium of the season since his sidecar comeback last time out in Scotland at Knock Hill. Wow, they're all over the place. Blackstock up the inside now as we get to Palmer's.
Hey, this is deja vu Knock Hill. Don't tempt fate.
Yes, it is. Where, of course, Ricky Stevens had a spin, didn't he, coming through the chicane, and Blackstock absolutely T-boned him. But now the first and second place combinations of yesterday are cutting through as well. Look at that, right round the outside goes Todd Ellis. That was an absolute consummate move, wasn't it, as they came down to the hip and they're cutting through. In the meantime, of course, Holland and Watson are leading by almost 2 seconds. There they are, just coming through the shop.
What a brilliant ride. The big loser there, Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark, the reigning champions. They're on the back of this quartet. Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson, well, they're not lapping at anything like lap record time at the moment. Their best so far, a 2:01.5.
Back down the Bentley straight, here's Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark. Yes, the reigning champions. They pull out of the slipstream. That's Chris Walker on their right-hand side. Are they far enough alongside? The answer is very much yes. Down into Brundle and Nelson. They've got it stopped just about. So up another one. Down another one, of course, for Chris Walker. But Kershaw ploughing his way through. Ellis as well now is closing right in on the outfit ahead of him as he cuts through, having won the race yesterday. 8 laps this time, 12 laps yesterday.
2:01.343 for Ben Holland and Lee Watson. They're out there, so we've got JG Speedfit, Quattro plant bikes in first and second. Then the 2 Santander salt bikes split by this Craig Clark.
Oh, and apparently they're being shown the meatball flag, the black flag with the orange disc, and there's some smoke apparently. The marshals are spotted coming out of this window Yamaha of Craig Clark and Craig Andrew Clark alongside. Let's have a look. We're looking out for the smoke. There they are on the right-hand side. Matt McLaurin closest to us. Yes, oh, clearly. Now, is that the wheel arch rubbing on the wheel, do you reckon?
That could even have been sidecar wheel locking up, because the bias on the braking system, if it's not set correctly, the sidecar wheel.
Now, look at this. We're moving towards half-race distance. There's the confirmation of the black and orange flag, but Todd Ellis takes another one. Todd Ellis now is up ahead of Ricky Stevens and up into second place. The gap to the leaders, they've got to close in on now as well. Or was that the leader? It was indeed the lead. My mistake, my apologies. They've taken the lead. They've already closed in. Well, that's amazing, actually, the speed at which they managed to catch Ben Holland and take him. Once they were released up into second place, Barry, they've caught them rapidly and taken the lead.
Yeah, amazing. Away they go then. Fantastic. This is a repeat performance. 8 wins, I beg your pardon. 6 wins out of 8 rides for Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. Very impressive for the youngster, and he was only 0.2 of a second off the Birchall's lap record here yesterday.
Kershaw having a look at Blackstock as well. Now this is the fight for 4th position down under the bridge, and that's another one. They like passing down there, don't they? So there's the leader, that's Ellis. Holland is now ahead of his teammate Ricky Stevens, but that might change in a moment. Then it's Kershaw there, the first of the blue bikes, and Blackstock demoted to 5th position. Chris Walker still 6th, Brian Gray 7th, Andy Peach is 8th. Brian and Hyde are down to 9th place now, and Kirk and Smithies are going well, aren't they, on the number 58? Martin Kirk and Shelley Smithers, the LCI Yamaha, they're in the top 10 yet again.
Yeah, they were. Good ride yesterday for them. Chris Walker holding on there in 6th. Doing a good job, Chris Walker. You know, he had that big injury, broke his back in actual fact, took the season out. But look at these two. A look over the shoulder. Looked across left from Ben Holland to see his teammate Ricky Stevens coming through, and Kershaw and Clark on the other side taking him as well. So 2 in 1 fell swoop.
Oh, lovely bit of opportunism there from the reigning British champions, who last year emulated the late great Jock Taylor to become the first Scottish champion. Of course, we lost Jock Taylor in an accident back in 1983. That's Andy Peach. With damage as well, body damage. With, I reckon the wheel arch actually might be missing completely. Yes, there's the confirmation. There it goes.
That's a shame. That's automatically. So we've got a black flag we're hearing for Gary Bryan and Phil Hyde for failing to observe their ride-through penalty. So they're being black flag. Game over for them.
Yeah, well, they're running in 7th place. Oh, and now they've stopped out on track anyway. Slightly confusing situation. They jumped the start from 2nd place. Well, actually, they're confused. They think they've been shown the flag because of a mechanical problem, but that's not the case. They were supposed to take a ride-through penalty. They haven't, and it's the black flag now for disqualification as opposed to the black and orange flag for a mechanical problem. Anyway, they are out of the race, and any chance of a result has gone. But look at this. A bit of a moment there for Stevens and Charwood. They almost touch. Certainly wouldn't be the first time we'd seen side-to-side contact for Stevens and Charwood this year. They've been completely out of luck for much of the season, but in the end it was a clean move for Kershaw, who did well there to avoid contact.
Ricky Stevens invited him by popping the sidecar wheel up, running wide, and Kershaw had a split-second decision to make. Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney, number 95, on the Barnes Racing Silicon Engineering bike, right there in 4th place. And now they're eager to muscle their way past Ricky Stevens at the moment, who, it's fair to say, has to think his championship challenge is over, because he came into this race in 14th place in the standings.
Right, they've got one more lap, these two, to hold on to this last podium position. Look at Blackstock trying to set up a move. He knows he's still got one more lap, of course, of the longest track on the calendar here in the BSB paddock. 2.9 miles here at Snetterton. And second longest in the country, of course, after the Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone. Here we go then into the last lap. Ellison Richardson with a comfortable lead over Kershaw and Clark. It'll be a 1-2 for that team, but who's going to get this last step on the podium?
Well, yeah, I don't think Steve Kershaw's got any answer for Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson. The gap now 2.5 seconds, that comfortable lead you described, Greg. And, well, it was 5 seconds that he was beaten by last time out. So Todd Ellis will extend his lead even more.
It's difficult to know where Blackstock will actually spring the surprise. I don't know whether he could have a go down into Brundle and Nelson at the end of the Bentley Straight, but he needs a very, very good run through this infield section if that's going to be the case. He's running out of time, he's running out of corners though, down to Agostini's for the last time. Very good run actually there into that back straight from Palmer for the black bike. There's Blackstock, he's not going to be passing through here.
No, Stevens I think has done enough. Halfway around the final lap then, we've got about 1.5 miles for Ricky and Ryan. Having said that, Blackstock is closing in and he's going, oh no! Oh, and he kept got the clutch in. That was
good save.
Well, good save.
Nice save. He's kept it going. Lewis Blackstock and Paddy Rosney. Paddy did a good job to actually stay on the bike, because so often when the energy transfers in a spin like that, the passenger can come flying off. Talk us through it, Bazza.
Well, he sticks the nose up, you know, but Ricky's not going to give any quarter. He went in a little bit hot, had to get on the brakes, locked up the rear, that spun it. He had no choice. But what a save, as you say.
Bit of damage there to the left-hand side. Well, we said we've had a lot of drama in the sidecars this year. This weekend has actually had, to be honest, not quite so much as other meetings, but just saving a surprise for us there. What a save that was, though, from Lewis Blackstock. But in the meantime, Ellison Richardson, what a weekend.
10 points for Chris Walker. Holland, didn't he give us a good display from the front?
Yes.
Todd Ellis then, bring him over the line, Greg.
Here we go. Double at Snetterton then for Ellis and Richardson. 1-2 for that team. Kershaw and Clark second. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board now and think about the championship. And Paul Napton, the team boss, will be very pleased with another podium for Stevens and Charwood. But Todd Ellis means business in 2019. Blackstock somehow then, there's the damage on our right-hand side. That's where the contact was made, over into Oggie's corner. Well, that could have been no points at all. They've managed to survive and finish fourth somehow.
Yeah, and that'll be third place in the championship for them, which is great. Ben Holland again. So both the JG Speedfit Quattro plant bikes and their victory for Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson, but both the JG Speedfit bikes, both the Santander Salt bikes in the top 5, and Blackstock in fourth. Remarkable, Greg. Thanks for that.
So Ellis and Richardson 2.8 seconds ahead, a controlled win. I think it's fair to say they're over their teammates and reigning British champions Kershaw and Clark. Couple of podiums this weekend for Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, the champions of 15 and 16, with Chris Walker and Ashley Hawes getting quicker all the time, and they're finishing 6th in this one to score 10 championship points in the process.